Alright guys, today we're going to go over our human anatomy and body systems. I know a lot of this is going to be reviewed from middle school, so we'll just go over a little bit more detail of this stuff, and then the main thing you're going to want to know is how these body systems interact together to do different functions. So first a review of the levels of organizations. Remember we have several different levels. This again is review. So cells are the most basic unit of life. Groups of cells make tissues, groups of tissues make organs, and groups of organs make organ systems. Okay, and all of these are going to work together to maintain homeostasis, which you should remember is a stable internal environment. Yeah, that's what I just said. Homeostasis, maintaining that constant internal environment. An example, the nervous system and endocrine system control homeostasis in the body through feedback mechanisms involving different organs and organ systems. So I do want you guys to remember positive and negative feedback. That is something that we went over at like the very beginning of the year, so you probably forgot. But positive feedback is when there's a stimulus and it keeps increasing response until the disturbance is over. So an example is fever, increasing your body temperature until the pathogen in your body is dead, and child labor. Your body keeps releasing different hormones, increasing the muscle contractions until the baby is born. So it amplifies a response and it keeps increasing it until it's over. That's different from negative feedback, where it's kind of the opposite of that. It's a check and balance system that will reverse the disruption or the disturbance. Example, temperature, if you're too hot, you really sweat. If you're too cold, you start shivering to produce heat. Blood glucose, your pancreas will secrete insulin and glucagon to regulate your blood sugar until it's back to normal. And then heart rate, the heart pumps blood carrying oxygen to the rest of the body. So we're going to go over the 11 human body systems. First is the muscular system. That's all your muscles. So it produces voluntary movement. That's movement you can control, helps to circulate blood, moves food through your digestive system, and babies in the reproductive system. The different organs, there's 3 different types of muscle. Cardiac muscle makes up your heart, is adapted to generate and conduct electrical impulses. That is how your heart beats. There's little electrical impulses throughout your heart. Skeletal muscle is voluntary muscle. That is muscle that you can control and move. It attaches to and moves bones. And then smooth muscle is also involuntary muscle. You can't control moving this. This is found on the walls of internal organs, and your blood vessels are also actually made of smooth muscle. So there's the function, works with skeletal and nervous system to produce movement, circulate blood through the human body. And then there's some of the major muscles. There's a lot of different muscles, and they are all in Latin. So, how does this one relate with others? So for each body system, you will be writing some body system interactions. It works closely with the skeletal system, the circulatory system to bring oxygen to the muscles and remove waste products, and with the nervous system, which is how your muscles know to contract and move. And next is the skeletal system, which is all of your bones. It supports the body, protects your internal organs like your heart and your lungs and your brain, allows for movement, and also stores minerals. And your bones actually provide blood cell formation. So your blood cells, red and white, are produced from the inside of your bones in the bone marrow. So bones produce blood cells, red marrow makes red and white blood cells, yellow marrow stores fat. Joints are where 2 bones meet. Cartilage surrounds the ends on the bone to prevent grinding on another bone. Ligaments are tough bands of tissues that attach one bone to another. Tendons connect muscle to bone, and your teeth are modified bones. So function provides structure and support to the human body. And here are a lot of the major bones. Your femur is going to be your biggest and strongest bone in your body. That's your thigh bone. So it works with the muscular system for movement, and it also works with your circulatory and immune system because your blood cells are made there. Next is integumentary system. That is your skin, hair, and nails. It's your first barrier against infections and injury, helps regulate body temperature, stores fats, protects against UV radiation, and can absorb things into your body like vitamin D, drugs, chemicals. So your skin is made of your epidermis and dermis. Your epidermis is the outermost layer of skin. The dermis is the inner layer of skin that has your blood vessels, nerve cells, hair follicles, sweat and oil glands. Your hair, skin, and nails is made up of keratin, which is a protein. And then the pigment of skin and hair is controlled by melanin. Sweat is produced to help maintain homeostasis. And then sebaceous or oil glands helps to waterproof and lubricate mammalian skin and hair. This integumentary system contains blood vessels, so it works with circulatory, has nerves, so it works with the nervous, and it's your body's first defense against pathogens, so it works with your immune system. Next is your nervous system. That is your brain and nerves. So it helps coordinate body's response to change in environment, controls body functions, senses, so your hearing, taste, sight, smell, receive and integrate information, so it helps your body communicate and respond to stimuli. So the function is to coordinate the body's response to changes in the environment. Your brain is the control center of your body where processes are relayed through. That consists of your cerebrum, controls thought and senses, and then the cerebellum controls motor functions. The spinal cord sends instructions from the brain to the rest of your body. And your nerves conduct impulses to muscle cells throughout your body. So your nervous system has neurons or nerve cells. That's the basic unit of structure. It is a very different kind of cell. It's a long cell with 3 different regions. There's the cell body, and then there's little dendrites that stick out that receives impulses and delivers them to the cell. And then there's a little tail-like structure called the axon that is an extension of the neuron that carries impulses away from the cell. Your central nervous system is made of your brain and spinal cord and coordinates your body's activities. The peripheral nervous system is made of nerves and carries messages to and from the central nervous system. The nervous system works with many other systems, but it works closely with the digestive system and the muscular system. And here's another diagram of the nerve cell. The immune system, that is going to help you when you're sick. So it protects your body from disease, removes infectious diseases and other pathogens, collects fluid and loss from blood vessels, and returns it to the circulatory system. So there's the function. And then major organs. Skin is your body's first line of defense. White blood cells recognize disease and creates antibodies to tag and remove them. Lymph nodes help restore fluid lost by the blood and return it to the circulatory system. And then your spleen is where white blood cells are stored. Here's some of the different organs in the immune system. Works closely with the circulatory system because white blood cells travel through your bloodstream. Next is circulatory system, sometimes also called the cardiovascular system. Brings oxygen, nutrients, and hormones to cells, fights infections, removes cell waste, regulates body temperature. And this is your heart and blood vessels. So the heart is a major muscle, pumps blood through the 4 chambers. There's 2 ventricles and 2 atria. Pumps deoxygenated blood to the lungs where it gets oxygen, returns to the heart, then pumped out to the rest of your body. And then arteries carry blood away from the heart. Veins carry blood back to the heart. Capillaries are small blood vessels where gas exchange occurs in the lungs. Blood is what flows through your circulatory system. It's made of red blood cells, white blood cells, platelets, and plasma. And y'all can read about each of those. And then the spleen helps filter out toxins in the blood. This system is connected to almost all the other systems since the circulatory system carries oxygen to all the cells. Also carries a lot of different things in the bloodstream, white blood cells, hormones, nutrients, all kinds of stuff. So there's the heart and some of the major blood vessels. Respiratory system, that is your lungs and breathing, so that provides oxygen needed for cellular respiration and removes carbon dioxide. Here's some of the organs. Nose, entry and exit point for air. Your pharynx serves as a passage for air and food at the back of your throat. Larynx is the voice box. Trachea is your windpipe, or what connects the pharynx to your lungs. And there's a little piece of skin called the epiglottis, covers the trachea when you swallow to prevent food from entering your lungs because that can cause infections. Bronchi are the two large passageways that lead from the trachea to your lungs. There's one for each lung. Bronchi are further subdivided into bronchioles, and then that leads to tiny air sacs called alveoli, and there are over 600 million alveoli in your lungs. They're little clusters. The capillaries surround each one where gas exchange occurs with the blood. The diaphragm is the muscle right under your lungs that contracts and expands to cause you to breathe. And then your lungs are covered in pleural membranes that are separated by fluid, and it allows your lungs to slide around during inhaling and exhaling, and it's one of the largest organs in your body. And here's a picture. Y'all can see all of those little alveoli, the little tiny sacs with the capillary on it. So this one connects to the circulatory system because it brings oxygen to the cells and carbon dioxide to the lungs. Also helps with your excretory system because it's getting rid of carbon dioxide, which is waste. Digestive system is your eating. It converts food into simpler molecules that can be used by cells like glucose, absorbs food and vitamins. The entire digestive process takes between 24 and 33 hours. And there's a picture of all of the different components of the digestive system. So you have your mouth to chew up food. Epiglottis is that flap that covers your respiratory system. Esophagus connects your mouth to your stomach. Your pancreas is the hormone that produces insulin to help regulate your blood sugar. And there's a few other functions of the pancreas. Your liver is a very complicated organ that has a ton of different functions, but you just need to know produces bile, which emulsifies or breaks down fats in food. Gallbladder stores bile. Stomach secretes strong acid that breaks down food. Once food is broken down in your stomach and mixes with digestive juices, it's called chyme. The small intestine is really important for absorption of nutrients and minerals. Large intestine is muscular tube where water and salts are absorbed. Material spends 18 to 24 hours there getting ready for excretion. Appendix is this little extension off of your large intestine. And then the rectum or anus is the last part of the digestive system where feces are eliminated. This works with your muscular system because it's made of smooth muscle. Works with your nervous system because it gets signals that controls the rate of digestion. Works with your circulatory system because broken down food travels through the blood vessels. And it works with the endocrine system because there's certain hormones like insulin that help control blood sugar. There's a picture of all the important organs. Excretory system eliminates waste. It's also called the urinary system. So your kidneys, main organ of the excretory system, filters out urea, which is excess water and other waste products, eventually travels through the ureter to the urinary bladder, then out the urethra, and then the rectum is where solid waste travels out. Skin, sweat is removed from there. Lungs expels waste, which is carbon dioxide. Works with circulatory because waste products are carried from cells to the kidney through blood vessels. Endocrine hormones are sent to control water levels and homeostasis. Respiratory expels carbon dioxide. Endocrine system, keyword here is hormones. So there's a lot of different glands that produce hormones that are chemical messages throughout your body. The purpose is for growth, development, and metabolism. Helps maintain homeostasis. So in your brain, the hypothalamus is part of the brain that is the link between the endocrine and nervous system. The pituitary is also a main gland of the endocrine system. It's stimulated by the hypothalamus when changes in homeostasis are detected. There's the thyroid and the parathyroid, which produces some different hormones. The adrenal glands produces adrenaline, which is your fight or flight response. The pancreas produces some different hormones, and then ovaries and testes also produce hormones. So closely involved with the reproductive and digestive system, and then brain because that's part of your nervous system, so it works with all three of those. Last is reproductive system, which I'll just post the slides for this. We are going to go over the reproductive system more after the STAR test, so I'll just have the slides for y'all to copy that stuff down, and we'll look at it more another time.